The story of Muammar Gaddafi and the fall of Libya in 2011 is often told through a specific lens. It is a narrative frequently shaped by Western perspectives and interests. This account seeks to offer a different view. It aims to explore the complexities of Gaddafi's rule and the events of 2011 from perspectives often overlooked. We challenge the simple portrayal of Gaddafi as solely a brutal dictator per Western powers. Was he a dictator? His legacy is far more intricate and debated, particularly among Libyans themselves. He was an enigmatic figure, a revolutionary who defied easy categorization. Understanding Libya's recent history requires looking beyond the dominant narrative. Born in a desert tent, Gaddafi's early life was steeped in Bedouin traditions. He was deeply inspired by the pan-Arab nationalism of figures like Gamal Abdel Nasser. This inspiration fueled his ambition for change. He envisioned a unified Arab world, free from foreign influence. In 1969, a bloodless coup led by young military officers, including Gaddafi, overthrew the monarchy. This marked the beginning of a new era for Libya. Gaddafi quickly consolidated power and began transforming the nation. He declared the establishment of the great socialist People's Libyan Arab Jamahiriya. His vision involved using Libya's vast oil wealth for the benefit of its people. Significant investments were directed towards public services. Infrastructure, education, and healthcare saw substantial development under his rule. Access to these services improved dramatically for many Libyans. Libya achieved one of the highest Human Development Index scores in Africa. This reflected improvements in life expectancy, literacy, and income. Are those done by dictators? I studied world politics and dictatorships. I never seen dictatorships promoted education and equality. Dictators prefer uneducated, uninformed people as their citizens. Question is why West's targeted leader focused on education and wealth of their citizens. A monumental project was the Great Man-Made River. This ambitious network of pipelines brought water from desert aquifers to coastal areas. It was hailed as the eighth wonder of the world. It aimed to make the desert bloom and ensure water security for the nation. Beyond Libya, Gaddafi championed Pan-Africanism. He advocated for greater African unity and self-reliance. He dreamed of a United States of Africa. He provided financial support to various African nations and organizations. Perhaps most controversially, he planned to introduce a gold-backed currency. This African dinar or similar currency was intended to challenge the dominance of the US dollar and the euro. This proposed currency aimed to facilitate trade within Africa. It represented a direct challenge to established Western financial systems. Despite the developmental achievements, Gaddafi's rule had a darker side per Western powers. It is crucial to acknowledge the realities of living under his regime. Suppression of dissent was a consistent feature. Political opposition was not tolerated. According to Western media, many individuals were imprisoned for their political views. Human rights organizations documented cases of arbitrary detention and mistreatment. Again, it is all per Western media. Is it true or just fabricated by Western media? Accusations of supporting various militant and terrorist groups abroad were frequent. Libya faced international isolation and sanctions due to these allegations. All Libya was outcast to promote Western interest. Think about it. England, France, and US created such environments just because it benefited them many times in history. Gaddafi introduced his political philosophy in the Green Book. It proposed a system of direct democracy through popular committees. This system, known as Jamahiriya, theoretically placed power directly in the hands of the people. It rejected traditional forms of government like parliaments and political parties. However, in practice, power remained highly centralized. Gaddafi, as the leader of the revolution, held ultimate authority. As Western opinions. Same time I ask, which Western country placed the power to their people? The popular committees often served to rubber stamp decisions made by the inner circle. True democratic participation was limited per Western media. Today, Libyans remain deeply split on Gaddafi's legacy. Some remember him as a benevolent leader who improved their lives and stood up to foreign powers. Others recall a feared autocrat who controlled every aspect of society. They remember the lack of freedom and the consequences of opposition. I wonder, where is freedom as we speak? Country run by Western puppets to allow exploitations of their natural resources by the Western powers. The events of 2011 represent a pivotal moment in Libya's history. The NATO intervention fundamentally altered the country's trajectory. NATO was utilized for US, UK and other Western interests. The official justification for the intervention was to protect civilians from Gaddafi's forces. A UN Security Council resolution authorized a no-fly zone and necessary measures to achieve this. However, many argue the intervention quickly went beyond this mandate. It became a campaign aimed at regime change. Fueled by the momentum of the Arab Spring, protests in Libya escalated into armed conflict. The intervention tipped the balance decisively against Gaddafi. Critics contend the intervention, far from protecting civilians in the long term, led to widespread destruction and destabilization. It plunged the country into chaos. The argument is made that the intervention was not primarily driven by humanitarian concerns. Instead, it was motivated by strategic Western interests. Libya possesses Africa's largest proven oil reserves. This vast natural wealth has always made the country strategically important. Control over or influence on these resources is a significant geopolitical factor. Access to Libyan oil is crucial for many economies. Gaddafi's plan for a gold-backed African currency posed a direct threat. It challenged the global financial architecture dominated by Western currencies and institutions. Such a currency could have empowered African nations to trade independently. It would have reduced reliance on the dollar and euro. Furthermore, Libya had virtually no foreign debt under Gaddafi. The country was financially independent. This lack of debt meant Libya was not beholden to international financial institutions. It could pursue its own economic policies without external pressure. Libya also held significant sovereign wealth funds. These funds represented substantial financial power accumulated from oil revenues. These factors combined presented a picture of a financially independent nation. A nation potentially capable of challenging established economic and political orders. The picture of Libya after the 2011 intervention is grim. The promise of a democratic future quickly dissolved. The removal of centralized authority led to a power vacuum. This vacuum was filled by competing militias and tribal factions, promoted by US and allies to support a group aligned with their interests. Is it just a constant? The country descended into prolonged civil conflict and warlordism. Different groups fought for control over territory and resources. Basic services deteriorated and the economy collapsed. The stability achieved under Gaddafi disappeared. I believe it was per Western news, propaganda and powers. Think about vast oil fields now controlled by Western interest. I believe it is a lens created by Western powers. He was a dictator or leader for his people. I like to thought-provoke. Were there any dictator in the human history promote the education of their people? Just think about it. Tragically, reports emerged of slave markets reappearing in Libya. Migrants attempting to reach Europe became particularly vulnerable. The post-Gaddafi era has been marked by instability, violence, and a humanitarian crisis. Many Libyans look back at the pre-2011 period with complex emotions. Think about it. Europe is complaining about migration, while people were prosperous and not trying to migrate. Any country now trying to migrate. How can you blame them? I call that result of imperialism. The intervention, intended to bring freedom and protection, is seen by many Libyans as the catalyst for the country's destruction. Their voices offer a critical perspective on the official narrative. Please like, subscribe our channel The Turkish Odyssey. It is free. Your support is everything to us. Please keep sporting. See you in the next adventures.